In this video, we're talking about some crazy sales for Grails, some price disparities that I haven't seen since I've been doing this as a career, probably about 5 years now. Some wild stuff, some key takeaways on how to position yourself the best in today's market, because today's market presents some crazy opportunities. But before we hop into it, I want to remind you we have our 20,000 subscriber giveaway, 6 slabs going away to one lucky winner. Thank you so much, everyone, for all the support and getting us to 20,000 subs. We're going to let this giveaway run for the month of July. Also, we have a giveaway over at BryceComics.com. We're giving away a Hulk 340 9.0 newsstand at $200 book, and all you have to do is be subscribed to the newsletter over there. We have some exciting new collections coming in. In fact, I just secured the biggest collection of my life. Young Marcus and I are hopping on an airplane. The day you're watching this, we are hopping on an airplane and we're going to go pick up the biggest collection of my life, my career thus far. And so you're going to want to be subscribed to that newsletter over there to start getting notified of the insane books, insane collection that's coming through the shop. Super excited. Stay tuned for some awesome videos coming down the pipe. I guess I should, not count my chickens before they hatch, but the deal is sealed. The flight tickets are purchased and it looks like it's happening. Unless something terrible happens, please don't let anything terrible happen. This is just so exciting. We're super stoked. I digress. Also follow us over on Whatnot. $15 link if you're new to Whatnot down below. We always have books in the bite now for $15. We're gonna have some amazing shows coming very soon. Tons of awesome raw book shows. We're gonna have some raw book shows over on Instagram as well. So follow me over on Instagram. I think so. I think we're gonna have to go back to some of those good old fashioned claim sales on Instagram for some of these raw books. Super excited. Let's hop into the computer. All right, so here we are on GP Analysis. This is a website that tracks all CGC sales from, they claim, over a dozen websites. I'm not sure exactly which ones. I know it's Hakes, Comic Connect, eBay, Heritage. Those are the main ones, and then apparently they collect from even more sources than that. So this is my preferred go-to place for finding sales data. And we have The Amazing Spider-Man #1. If you go down here to, this is so crazy. This is just what I've never seen before. So we look at like the 1.0. Okay, the 1.0 last sold for $5,400. Entry level, the only thing lower than that is a 0.5, which last sale was $3,200. So it goes $3,200 for a 0.5, $5,400 for a 1.0. Then you jump up to the 1.5. The last sale came in at $8,500, which is, way above recent sales. That was definitely a high sale, which is very interesting. It's like this monster sale for a 1.5 at $8,500, way more than, everything in line with that. And then you come over to the 1.8 and it goes 58. And then the 2.0 is 54. All right. So the 2.0 sold most recently back in December for less than the 1.8. Then you go up to the 2.5 and it jumps again. Last sale was $9,100, a very strong sale for a 2.5. And then you go to the 3.0, $8,200, 3.5, back down to $7,500. Here's where it starts to get crazy. 4.0 for $8,500. All right, so for a 4.0, the last sale was $8,500. The last sale of the 2.5 was $91. So the 2.5 sold for more than a 4.0. And the 4.0, in my opinion, is where it really starts to get into like a really nice copy. At the 4.0, you're not going to have any big chunks missing. You're definitely going to have creasing and wear and stuff like that, but no big chunks missing. And it's where it really starts to get into like some very, very nice presenting copies. I mean, you can have a really bad presenting 5.0 or 4.0 as well. But the point is that it's kind of like a different caliber at that point. Here's where it gets really crazy. This is even crazier than that. I'm looking at Tales of Suspense number 39. And if we go down to these lower grades, we could see that the 1.0, the last sale for a 1.0 was $4,450. The last sale of a 1.5 was $4,645. All right, so now we're in line. 1.8, $4,490. I mean, it's not totally out of normalcy to see pretty tight numbers between like the 1.0 and the 1.8, or even the 2.0 for that matter, because you can have such massive defects in these grades, the 1.0, 1.5, 1.8, 2.0, that presentation is a huge factor in price for these ultra low grades. Because, a very well presenting 1.0, somebody might be willing to pay more for that than a really lousy presenting 2.0. So that makes sense for the most part, but it gets super crazy here in just a sec. 2.5 for $49.20. Now, in my opinion, like a 2.5 versus a 1.0, I mean, these are practically the same price. And that's where it's crazy, because a 2.5 is definitely a different stratosphere than a 1.0. I mean, very rarely would you see a 1.0 that presents better than a 2.5. All right, then we go up to the 3.0, 5,500, 3.5, 6,500, 4.0, 7,000. All right, we're kind of in a logical progression here. But the 4.5, this is where it's nuts. $5,100. All right, this is just bananas. You look at this sale, it's half of the sale before that. So I do not think that $5,100 is the fair market value for this book. It's definitely more than that in today's market. This was just a crazy low sale. And it almost, begs the question, like, is it a scam? So if we go and look into it, let's see if it's legit. First of all, GP Analysis does a really good job of removing sales that were illegitimate or didn't go through and things like that. They're also really good about getting the actual sale price and not like the buy it now price. That's another thing that I've seen happen over and over again with other pricing websites, is if it was a best offer accepted, sometimes it'll pull in the listed price and not the actual best offer price. But if we look at this is the actual sale. Here it is, Tales of Suspense number 39. It's a 4.5 off-white to white, a beautiful copy at that. It's not like an exceptional. This book in particular, to make it exceptional, is right here by where it says Iron Man. If it has both quotation marks on the right-hand side, that's considered an exceptional copy because it's like a better cut. And then down here at the bottom, if you could see the blue in the bottom left corner, if you could see the blue line underneath the table, then it's a better centered thing. So if it has those two quotation marks, the blue under the table, and if it's white pages, because this book is a little bit harder to get in white pages, that's like the triple trifecta of a really nice copy of Tales of Suspense. But nonetheless, this presents well. It's a good presenting copy. Absolutely no reason why it should have like a massive, oh, look at that, we got a little date stamp on the spine, which is interesting. But solid 4.5. Looks great. Even your friends that know nothing about comics aren't going to look at that and go, you paid how much for that? Because it looks okay. It's not missing half the front. $5,100. It looks like a legit sale. Now, it has all the hallmarks of a legit sale. This guy has 100% positive feedback, 1,046 by the name. I believe that's like all reviews that he's had, like buying and selling, because if you look down here, it says that he has 62 items sold. So this is a person that doesn't sell a ton of stuff, but he's been on eBay for 22 years, joined in 2002. It has all the hallmarks of a legitimate thing. Like, this is not uncommon where somebody will just have an eBay page and very occasionally throw something up for sale. He's not a seller. He's a collector. And if you go and look at like his other items listed for sale, there's nothing. So he just decided to list this, unless it is possible that, his account was hacked and, they changed the payment method. And it is possible that this is fraudulent, but, typically in a situation like that, what they do when they hack the account is they'll put in the item description, go to this website and give us the payment on this website and we'll give it to you for the half off price. But this isn't leading anybody to any other site. It's just collecting the payment here on eBay. And that's where the scam, it kind of ends, is because eBay has the buyer protection, and if the payment has to go through eBay, and they probably won't give you the money until it's actually delivered, since, it depends on his seller status. But nonetheless, it doesn't have any of the hallmarks of a scam. It's possible that this guy just listed this book for $5,100 and wanted to sell it. It's possible. And so the point of this video, and the reason that I decided to do this was, I would have bought this. I would have absolutely bought this for $5,100 had I seen it instantly because of the buyer protection. If it didn't go through, it's a hassle, but you would get your money back. The whole point of this video is to be cash heavy in today's market if you're looking to consolidate your collection for grails. I mean, look at these deals for these books. If you could have, pulled the trigger on an ASM #1, like a 3.5 for $7,500 for an ASM 1, whereas, that's way less than the 2.5. I mean, and especially here with the Tales of Suspense, I mean, a 5.0 for $8,400. I mean, that is significantly down. Look at the spread on this. There's a high in the last few months, 8,400 as the low for this year and 11,600 for the high. So, I mean, to get a 5.0 for $8,400, and this was on Heritage, no less. I mean, there's a lot of eyes on this. Look, it has the blue under the table. This is a beautiful copy. So the point is, be cash heavy in this market. And I know it's very difficult to sell your collection wherever it is. If you sell it yourself on eBay, you sell it on a consignment site, send it to auction, whatever the case may be, it's difficult to sit with a bunch of cash, especially comic money cash. If you're like me, you have, separate money for comics versus separate money for other things, hopefully even a separate account that will avoid a lot of arguments with your significant other. And it's hard to have money in that account because we're constantly on social media. We're on, all of these venues that are throwing comic books at us that are amazing books that are awesome that we want to spend money on. So it's difficult to sit on that cash. But if you can do it, if you can, liquidate the stuff you can live without, be cash heavy, and then watch these auctions or set these searches on eBay. I mean, if you're looking to consolidate into Silver Age grails, go on eBay, set a search for, auctions in particular. If, any of these that are the buy it nows, they come up all the time. A lot of times they're, overpriced, but if you set an alert, sometimes these sellers will capitulate and say, all right, I have it listed for 21,000, but I'm just going to send it to auction, $1 start. You want to be watching that thing and you want to have your cash available if you can snipe it, if you can pick that thing up for a crazy low price. And check out all of the auction houses. They're like Comic Connect, Comic Link, Heritage. I don't even bother with Heritage because you have to be in the room. There's no set end time for the auctions, which has always bothered me because it's not like I can just go run to my computer and just wait for the book to come up. They still do the live. It's very frustrating. The other auction houses, they all have a set end time. And so you can set an alarm on your phone and know exactly when you need to pay attention and go about your life. Don't miss these opportunities. Congratulations to this guy if you bought this. If you bought this and it turned out to be a scam, please leave a comment down below and I'll pin it. I would love to hear about that if this really was too good to be true. So the key takeaway here, and my advice is, if you are in a position where you would like some grails in your collection, I know the reason I talk about this is I know there's so many people that would love to have an Amazing Spider-Man 1, a Tales of Suspense 39, and personally, I think you should. I think that you should have a cornerstone of your collection, personally. I think if you can liquidate stuff that you can live without, those impulse buys, things that, maybe you started to collect Star Wars, but then you realize you're not really into Star Wars. Maybe you can get rid of those, consolidate, hold that cash, be cash heavy, show some restraint, don't do those impulse buys, and have that cash when that auction hammer falls and you pick up a Tales of Suspense for $5,000. That's just crazy low. Or two books that I didn't talk about in this video as far as looking at GPA is Fantastic Four #1 and Fantastic Four #5. Those books have some wacky consolidation going on too in the lower grades. So the other point that I want to make here in this video is don't be that guy that pays the wacky, abnormally high price for a low-grade grail. I feel like that guy is the one who just didn't do all the research, didn't didn't quite, cross all his T's and dot his I's and figure out what is the best price to pay, what is a reasonable price to pay. Maybe he went off of price memory. Don't be that guy. This is a buyer's market, and you should position yourself accordingly. Like, take advantage of the buyer's market, because it will flip-flop. It'll be a seller's market someday. And if you're, the one who got the Tales of Suspense 39 in a buyer's market, and then you're sitting pretty when it's a seller's market, you could sell it and then flip-flop, flip-flop, flip-flop. Next thing you know, you got a 9.8 Tales of Suspense 39. So that's it for this video. These are exciting times. Comics are exciting. Grails are exciting. I'm excited because we're going to pick up the biggest collection ever. It's not like you shouldn't be buying right now. Just be smart. Be excited that you're finally able to, look at things that we haven't been able to consider purchasing for the last, couple years because of the comic book market boom. Exciting times. Thank you for all the support all these years. Thank you for sticking with me to the end of the video. Stay tuned for some very exciting stuff. Smash like, subscribe, head over to Bryce Comics, use code COLLECT10. Love ya. See ya. Bye.